Con eso, tío.
15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second out.
For the 2008 general election, Republican President.
What in the actual hell?
From Tennessee's most haunted house to witches still roaming Massachusetts, these are the most disturbing mysteries from every U.S. state. On the 30th of July, 2025, a man named Hunter Mathis was having a nice evening in his house when he heard something. A voice came from the front door, which when he went to check on, he saw this.
What in the actual hell? There's literally...
The shadow on the door was clear. It looked like a human being trying to take a peek into the house, and it remained there the whole time. Then Hunter was moving towards the house and it vanished like it was never there.
There's literally...
According to Hunter, I'm not going to jump to conclusions and say it's paranormal because the shadow cast is so clear and lingers for so long. But in my 2 years of living here, I've never seen this. There was no one across the street or near my home for a shadow to be cast. Our front door is deep, so even at the corner, angels, it's impossible to cast a shadow like that. You have to face it directly. It was weird. I'm perplexed. Now, Hunter is someone who posts usual lifestyle content on TikTok, including some spooky stories from his followers, but nothing had ever happened to him personally. But then there is also the fact that the house he lives in has some kind of history too. It's called the Bradford Madewell House. The house was built in 1859 and has a history, and locals say it's been the center of strange occurrences for decades. Some claim that during the 1800s, the house was home to a wealthy family whose members mysteriously disappeared one by one. What makes Hunter's footage even more unsettling is the proximity of the West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center. People in the area have long whispered that the combination of the house's history and the forensic center's presence seems to draw lingering spirits or unexplained energies. Whether this is lingering energy from the past or something else entirely, one thing is clear: the house is not quiet, and Hunter's footage might just be the beginning of uncovering its secrets. On May 22nd, 2025, an Instagram post appeared from 31-year-old hiking influencer Hannah Moody, also known as Hannah Rose online. The video showed her standing on top of a trail in the McDowell Sonoran Preserve near Scottsdale, Arizona. Behind her stretched the wide desert, quiet and calm. But things were about to take a dark turn. The next day, Hannah was reported missing. Her body was later found about 600 yards off the trail by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Air Unit. The Maricopa County Medical Examiner said she died from environmental heat exposure, ruling it accidental. The autopsy also noted abrasions of the right shoulder and lower extremities and decompositional changes, with no drugs or foul play involved. Even with the official explanation, some have wondered if something more mysterious was involved. One theory points to the Mogollon Monster, Arizona's version of Bigfoot, Witnesses describe it as a huge bipedal creature, over 7 feet tall, with glowing red eyes, a strong smell, and long, human-like strides. People have spotted it along the Mogollon Rim, from Prescott to Clifton, sometimes letting out screams that chill the blood. These stories aren't new. In 2008, campers near the Mogollon Rim reported hearing terrible screams echoing through the woods. Some believe it's the creature marking its territory. Now, Hannah's death happened not far from these areas with strange sightings. The injuries noted in her autopsy, scrapes and abrasions, have made people wonder if she could have encountered something terrifying in the wilderness. While there's no proof connecting her death to the Mogollon monster, the mix of unexplained marks, remote location, and local legends has kept the story alive online. Hannah Moody's death was tragic, but it also reminds us that the wilderness holds secrets we might never fully understand. On June 15, 2025, an image was posted online showing a man holding a large rock-like object. The object looked like a head, rough and petrified. The man in the video is Todd May, a fossil hunter from Ogden, Utah. He claims this is the fossilized head of a Bigfoot. The background shows the rocky cliffs of Ogden Canyon, a place where Todd often searches for fossils. Todd says he discovered it while hiking near a hot spring. I would go out there often and find things, fossils, rocks. I looked around for about half an hour, then I saw it. Now Todd has been fascinated with Bigfoot his entire life and says he's seen 2 different creatures in the area. The second sighting was even more chilling. One night, while hiking with a flashlight, Todd spotted a red-furred creature, 8 to 10 feet tall, about 20 feet away. A few months later, Todd found what he believes is the creature's head buried in dirt. It had the same facial structure as the creatures he had seen. Since then, hundreds of people have weighed in on whether it's real or just a rock. And people have every right to question if it's legit, because Utah has one of the highest numbers of Bigfoot sightings in history. From strange footprints to the infamous furred creature, the state has long been a hotspot for these mysterious creatures. And one of the more recent cases came out of Provo. On a clear January morning of 2019, a group of friends spotted a huge dark figure moving across the mountainside. One of them, Austin Craig, even filmed the moment, saying, "Seriously, look how big it is. I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch." The men were so convinced they hiked up the mountain themselves, searching for fur or footprints. In the end, their findings were inconclusive. Maybe it was a bear, maybe a person, or maybe something else. Even experts at Utah's Natural History Museum admitted the science isn't there yet, but that doesn't stop locals from believing there's something hiding in the canyons. Todd's find now joins these stories, adding another piece to the puzzle. Whether it's a petrified head or just a weathered rock, the context makes it hard to dismiss outright. The area has long been filled with unexplained sightings, strange noises, and eerie encounters. Utah's wilderness continues to hold secrets, and Todd May's Bigfoot skull claim only keeps the legend alive. It was September 6, 2025, when a video was uploaded on X. It showed a man recording a house in complete darkness. The only light he had was the flash of his camera, and that's when we see it.
Grabé. se saltaron las jodidas palancas una noche más y que tenga que seguir viviendo aquí porque no tengo dónde ir. ¿Qué cojones es eso, tío?
The face behind the curtain was staring straight at the man, and so he ran. Even when he was outside, the horror wasn't over.
No! No! No!
The man was in Massachusetts, and even though the location was unknown, these types of encounters weren't. Not for locals, at least. Just a couple of years back, a patrol officer saw something similar. For locals, this ties back to old stories of witches living on the edge of towns, practicing in secret. Some say the spirits of these witches still linger, trapped between our world and theirs. But if you trust the roots of America's witch legends, you end up in Massachusetts, Salem to be exact. Back in 1692, the Salem witch trials shook the entire colony. More than 200 people were accused, 30 were found guilty, and 19 were executed, all because of mass hysteria, paranoia, and the fear that witches were walking among them. Centuries later, the shadow of Salem still lingers. From ghost tours to modern-day witch sightings, the legend never really died. Whether it's a face in a window or the haunted history of Massachusetts, the fear of witches has always been part of America's darkest folklore. On the 28th of March 2011, a video surfaced that made many believe something they did not before. Recorded by a security camera late at night, this is what it showed. And before we can dive deeper into what these creatures were and what many said about them, let's watch another clip recorded in the same area, just with a gap of 10 years. It was 2020 when this video surfaced on the internet. For a very brief moment, towards the right of the video, a figure appeared, walking on two legs. It looked very similar to the first video. Now, what exactly are these creatures? If you are also wondering about this, then let me introduce you to the Californian legends, the Nightcrawlers. The Fresno Nightcrawler, also called the Fresno Alien, has only been spotted a handful of times, but every sighting has fueled its legend. In every sighting, their bodies were described as almost like just a pair of pants gliding across the ground, with no arms and tiny torsos. Since the first video in 2011, reports have come in from as far as Poland and even Billings, Montana in 2020, all describing the same thing. Tall, pale, armless beings moving in unnatural ways. Some believe these creatures are aliens. Others say they're a new species we haven't discovered yet. Skeptics, of course, argue it's all hoaxes, people on stilts, puppets, or even balloons tied to remote-controlled cars. But here's where things get even stranger. The Nightcrawlers aren't just a weird one-off cryptid sighting. People have started tying them to something much darker, the missing 411. For anyone who doesn't know, missing 411 is a term coined by investigator David Paulides, and it covers a long list of strange disappearances, mostly in national parks and wild areas across the US. And here's the creepy part. California, especially places like Yosemite, where the Nightcrawlers were spotted, has some of the highest numbers of these cases. the patterns are unsettling. We're not just talking about kids wandering off or hikers getting lost. These are experienced outdoorsmen, even hunters, vanishing without a trace. Sometimes their gear is found neatly placed miles away. Other times, they're discovered in areas that search teams had already gone through multiple times. No footprints, no clear cause, just gone. So when you put those disappearances side by side with the Nightcrawler sightings in the same region, people can't help but wonder, are these pale, armless figures more than just a local legend? Could they be connected to the people who vanish in California's wilderness without explanation? On January 28, 1986, millions of people across America and the world tuned in to watch what was supposed to be a historic launch. The Space Shuttle Challenger was lifting off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and this wasn't just any mission. On board was Krista McAuliffe, a school teacher who had been selected for NASA's Teacher in Space program. Kids in classrooms were watching live, ready to see the first civilian, the first teacher, head into space. But instead of what everyone expected, this happened.
Challenger, go with throttle up. 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 1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second.
For the first 73 seconds, everything looked normal. The shuttle roared upward, a bright streak across the clear blue sky. But then, in an instant, the unthinkable happened. Challenger exploded mid-air, breaking apart over the Atlantic Ocean. 7 astronauts, including Krista, were gone in a matter of seconds. And it all happened in front of a live audience.
11:40 a.m. this morning, space program experienced a national tragedy with the explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger.
The horror wasn't just the explosion itself, but how preventable it was. Engineers at Morton Thiokol, the company that built the shuttle's solid rocket boosters, had raised red flags. The O-rings, rubber seals that kept hot gases inside the boosters, didn't work well in freezing temperatures. But here's where it gets unsettling. The morning of the launch, Florida was colder than usual. Ice clung to the launch pad, a strange sight for Cape Canaveral. Some say the shuttle never should have taken off under those conditions, and engineers had even warned about it the night before. Yet somehow, the decision was made to go ahead anyway. To the millions watching, it looked like an instant explosion, but investigators later revealed that parts of the shuttle kept moving for a moment after the blast, raising chilling questions about what really happened in those final seconds. The image of the smoke plume splitting into 2 trails became an eerie symbol, almost like the sky itself was marking the disaster. And the fact that this unfolded live in classrooms, in living rooms, across the world, gave it an almost unreal, haunting quality. Even decades later, people still question the choices made that morning. Why launch under such strange conditions? Why ignore the warnings? Was it simply human error? Or was something bigger at play? The push of politics, ambition, or something no one's fully explained? On an unknown date in the late 2000s, a video began circulating that would creep people out in ways they weren't expecting. It claimed to show a live TV broadcast hijack in Wyoming, a channel signal taken over by something strange.
Wyoming today, making him the first to visit in preparation for the 2008 general election. Republican President Jackson.
The screen flickers, an ordinary news segment interrupted by static and black and gray bars. Then comes the chilling text. We present a special presentation. The voice you don't hear, the images you can't unsee, disembodied human heads appearing, twisting, showing emotionless faces, flashing every 10 to 15 seconds. Viewers say they felt uneasy, nauseous. Some reported headaches after watching. The man behind the video is unknown. The channel and exact location are vague, but the effect was real for many who claim to have seen it. The video carried a low-frequency tone, around 17 to 19 hertz, said to mess with your body, your eyes, your mind. Some believed the tone triggered hallucinations. Others said they couldn't sleep afterward. Experts analyzing it say the Wyoming incident is fan-made, a work of horror fiction, not something that truly hijacked a TV station. The pages that talk about it say it was inspired by other famous signal hijackings, like the Max Headroom incident. Nonetheless, the lore around it remains powerful. Many who saw it say they still get chills thinking about it. In 2023, a Reddit user shared something that immediately caught the attention of paranormal forums. They posted a series of photos from the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, a place already called one of America's most haunted houses. In their post, they explained, I went to the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana last summer and took picture number 1. Picture number 3 is it zoomed in and circled. The second picture is my friend's picture, taken seconds after my original one. The fourth picture is a picture my friend found online from the Myrtles Plantation that someone else posted. The image looks identical, mirrored from mine. The last pic is it side by side. There was no one behind the real girl in the white shirt, and no one who looked like that on our tour. Hope that all makes sense. For those who know the legend of the Myrtles, this description chills to the bone. The plantation is said to be haunted by Chloe, an enslaved woman forced into the service of the family who lived there in the 1800s. The story goes that she poisoned a cake meant for the master of the house, but instead, his wife and 2 daughters ate it and died. Chloe was later executed, and since then, guests have claimed to see her spirit wandering the grounds, half her face obscured by the green head wrap she was said to wear. The Redditor's photo. It creepily resembles earlier supposed sightings of Chloe captured by other tourists. Skeptics will say it's coincidence, light distortion, or even Photoshop. But the fact that nearly identical apparitions have shown up in photos decades apart, taken by strangers, has only fueled the belief that the Myrtles Plantation isn't just historic. It's a place where the dead never really left. With April 9th, 2013 came a mystery which is still to be resolved. When a video got uploaded on YouTube, it had many in shock.
Roll.
A bright light hovered in the distance, too still to be an aircraft, too silent to be a helicopter. For a moment, it pulsed, then vanished as quickly as it appeared. This wasn't the first time Devil's Tower had been tied to unexplainable phenomena. Long before UFOs entered the picture, Native American legend spoke of children chased by a massive bear, the ground rising beneath their feet to save them, leaving behind the deep claw marks etched into the rock. But after close encounters of the third kind used Devil's Tower as the site of alien contact, the stories only grew. Since then, hikers, campers, and even locals have claimed to see glowing orbs circling the tower. and even sudden malfunctions in electronic devices. It's a place where ancient stories, unexplained sightings, and cinematic lore collide, leaving Devil's Tower shrouded in an aura of mystery. In July of 2000, a woman in Florida woke up to a loud bang coming from outside her house, and just as she went to check what was happening, she saw something right outside her house, which had not just her but the whole world in shock. This is the picture she took. It was a huge beast, covered from head to toe in hair, and of course, it led the family to believe it could be an escaped orangutan from the local zoo. The woman, not knowing what to do, mailed the pictures she had taken along with a letter to the local sheriff. The letter said, "Enclosed, please find some pictures I took in late September or early Oct of 2000. My husband says he thinks it is an orangutan. Is someone missing an orangutan? It is hard to judge from the photos how big this orangutan really is. It is in a crouching position in the middle of standing up from where it was sitting. However, things changed when the pictures she had shared with the police somehow got leaked online, and then it gave birth to a new legend, the Florida skunk ape. And since then, the sightings go way beyond that one photo. The same year, another video surfaced on the internet claiming to capture a similar creature. This is what the video was. It was just a simple run through grass, but it clearly was not a human. Another skunk ape type creature creeping around, completely covered in hair. And then the date on the videotape was a whole new story. It was the same day the woman had captured those photos. So, was this the same creature? And while people were wondering about these questions, another video of a skunk ape started floating on YouTube in 2013. However, this one was a bit controversial, since many believe Josh to be a hoaxer. Still, it's worth mentioning that it has never been confirmed if it really was a hoax. And all these sightings then gave birth to a skunk ape research headquarters in Okeechobee, Florida, run by a man named Dave Sheely, who claims to have seen the creature multiple times since he was a child. Whether it's an undiscovered species, a government cover-up, or something much stranger, the skunk ape legend refuses to die, because even today, new photos, new sightings, and new stories keep surfacing. It was a normal day for a fisherman out by the water until something unusual appeared just beyond the tree line. This was captured in May of 2019 in the United States. For context, the fisherman was alone on the Blue Line fishing trip with a camera set up to record himself. But later, as he was reviewing the footage, he realized that he wasn't the only one out there. Take a look. Just behind the trees, a large, dark figure quickly peeks out and just as fast vanishes back into the woods. It's easy to miss, but once you notice it, you can't unsee it. According to the original post by the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization, the clip was slowed down and zoomed in to show what appears to be a humanoid shape. Broad shoulders, upright stance, and way too tall to be a regular person hiding in the woods. Now, skeptics will say it's a shadow or maybe just pareidolia, your brain seeing patterns that aren't there. But there's something unsettling about how smooth the movement is. It doesn't stumble, it doesn't make a sound, it just peaks, like it knows it's being watched. And then there are many, of course, who believe it. That's a Bigfoot by the fisherman. Humans don't move that fast. And here's the thing, this isn't some shaky cam deep in the forest. It's broad daylight, a wide open spot, which makes it even creepier that something was able to get that close without making a single sound. Was it Bigfoot, a hunter in camo, maybe just a black bear, or something else entirely? On June 25, 2024, 4 pictures were uploaded on X showing an animal captured by a trail camera. And this animal was nothing like anyone had ever seen before. The animal captured looked like a slim, hairless dog, but the face made sure it wasn't a dog at all. But then, what was it? People were skeptical, especially about the snout. Seems like a fox or dog, but that snout looks weird. For others, it was straight up a Chupacabra. For those who don't know, a Chupacabra is a legendary cryptid in the folklore of parts of the Americas. It's described as a creature, often with a vampiric nature, that attacks and drains the blood of livestock, especially goats, leading to the name goat sucker. But if we consider other sightings, it does resemble a very strong match, like the one sighted in broad daylight on Slaughter Beach. Both are slick, resemble a fox, have the same snout, but are all these creatures being sighted real chupacabras? Or is there more to these unknown animals? Because many also pointed out the fact that these creatures could just be foxes with mange. Mange is a skin disease caused by mites. It leads to hair loss, rough skin, and, in many cases, animals looking completely unrecognizable, especially in trail cam footage, where there's no context for scale or detail. But here's the thing, it's not always that simple, because when you look closely at this specific creature, its proportions are weird. The limbs seem longer than a regular fox. The face structure doesn't exactly match what we've seen in mange cases, and its movement, if you saw the original video, is odd, like it doesn't fully belong. On June 12th, 2010, a video was uploaded to YouTube where some weird sounds could be heard. It was a mix of everything. It sounded like a bird, then a wolf, then something else entirely. And that's exactly what had everyone confused and honestly a little freaked out. But it wasn't just online where people heard these sounds. Back in 1970, over in Alberta, Canada, residents from the Sunchild First Nation Reserve also reported hearing bizarre noises coming from the woods near the Baptiste River. And when people went to investigate, this is how it went.
Nordic was doing some sightings, and so of course when I seen the prints myself, I just was immediately, well, for sure this guy's around. My mind, when I put my footprint on that print that guy left, well, it's not an ordinary huge guy on the reserve running around barefoot.
Paul Bigchild Sr., a resident from the area, said he heard the sounds about 3 different times that spring, always late at night. In his own words, it sounded like this.
But then again, somebody said that sounds like a wolf. But the first noise, we heard the sound of it, it sounds like a bird. About 3 in the morning, it's still dark.
And the strange part is, the audio and the local reports came out in the same week. Now, obviously, there's no way to say for certain that the two are connected, but the timing is a little eerie. To make things even weirder, scroll down the comments of that YouTube video and you'll find this. It is a Sasquatch. We hear that all the time here in the Oregon mountains every spring. And according to experts, the wilderness area at Sunchild is a likely location for Sasquatch to travel with minimal human activity and the long history of mysterious occurrences along the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains. So for that area, most of the sounds have been ruled out as Bigfoot for now. Captioned, this unknown organism was photographed off the coast of South Africa by biologist Gwyneth Penry back in 2007. Does anyone know what it is? This post surfaced on X on March 18th, 2024, and as soon as people saw it, they knew what it was. A blanket octopus. And the next video I'm about to show you, you've probably seen it before on my channel, but only now do we have a proper ID for it. In 2023, a video was uploaded on Reddit showing the same creature, but this time in even better detail. These creatures are known for their dramatic, flowing webbing that stretches between some of their arms, looking exactly like a colorful silk blanket drifting through the ocean. But here's the thing, they're extremely rare. Blanket octopuses live in open oceans, mostly in warm, tropical waters, and spotting one is basically like finding a needle in a haystack. According to marine experts, sightings are so rare that biologists have only seen them in person a handful of times. So yeah, while this unknown organism might have looked like a cryptid at first, it's not. It's one of the ocean's most alien-looking residents. And now that we've seen it in action, it's easy to understand why people were so confused. On May 23, 1964, Jim Templeton, a firefighter and amateur photographer, took 3 photographs of his 5-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, during a family outing to Burgh Marsh, overlooking the Solway Firth in Cumbria, England. When the photos were developed, one image revealed a peculiar figure in the background, what appeared to be a person in a white spacesuit standing behind Elizabeth. Templeton insisted that no one else was present at the time. Kodak, the company that developed the film, confirmed the photograph had not been tampered with. The photograph quickly gained media attention and became a topic of intrigue among UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Adding to the mystery, Templeton reported that shortly after the photograph's publication, he was visited by 2 men who claimed to be government agents. They took him back to the marsh, questioned him about the event, and then left abruptly without identifying themselves. Interestingly, around the same time, a missile test at the Woomera Test Range in South Australia was aborted when technicians observed 2 unidentified figures on the launch pad. Later, upon seeing Templeton's photograph in an Australian newspaper, they noted a resemblance between the figures they saw and the spaceman in the photo. Cumbria is no stranger to UFO and extraterrestrial sightings, and it has been claimed that the county is a hotspot for such events. For example, the Calvin UFO photograph, taken in 1990, depicts a diamond-shaped object hovering in the sky. Even today, no one really knows who or what was in the background of that photo. But one thing's for sure, it's one of those weird mysteries that keeps people wondering even decades later. In December 2008, a photograph taken by tourist Victoria Jovan at the Decay Hotel in Bale, Herculane, Romania, captured international attention. The image appears to show a translucent figure of a woman in a long white gown, standing at the top of a staircase. Jovan described the figure as resembling a priestess in long white clothes. The hotel, over 150 years old and named after the Dacian king Decebalus, was undergoing renovations at the time. It's not unusual when you think about it. Ghosts were people once, and many people don't like change. It's said there's treasure buried beneath the Decebal Hotel, and whether it's because of a traumatic incident or a deep need to guard that treasure, this ghost keeps coming back to haunt the Decebal again and again. However, if we look at this carefully, it kind of resembles the famous Brown Lady of Rainham Hall image taken in 1936 in Norfolk, England. In that case, photographers from Country Life magazine captured what appeared to be a spectral figure descending a staircase. The image has long been regarded as one of the most compelling pieces of ghost photography ever taken. Both photos look surprisingly similar, ghostly women in long dresses on staircases, and ever since they came out, people have been debating whether ghosts are real or not. Some say these pictures are just camera glitches, or even fakes, but they still spark conversations and make people wonder about the unknown. Back in 1964, a couple vacationing on Hook Island in Queensland, Australia, captured a photo that still creeps people out to this day. It was spotted in Stonehaven Bay, Hook Island. Robert Lisarek, who had a run-in with the creature, said he saw it with his family and ship hand in December 1964, and they got a picture of it. It was a massive creature in the water, a dark, snake-like being resting on the ocean floor. That's when they named it the Hook Island Sea Monster. According to eyewitnesses, the creature looked over 80 feet long, with eyes on top of its head and a gaping mouth. But before they could get closer, it suddenly moved and they got out of there. Some thought it was a massive eel or some unknown sea creature, but others pointed out something odd. The photo looked almost too good. Skeptics suggested it could have been a hoax, maybe even a plastic sheet or a carefully staged setup. But then, in 2017, a giant unidentified carcass washed ashore in Indonesia. It was so decomposed, no one could figure out what it was at first, and it bore a striking resemblance to what the Hook Island monster might have looked like. Eventually, experts said it was likely a dead whale, but many weren't convinced. The size, the shape, and the decay made it look like something straight out of a horror movie. To this day, people are still debating whether the Hook Island sea monster was real or just a clever fake. Maybe it was a giant eel, a decaying whale, or maybe something we haven't discovered yet. Whatever it was, that photo left a mark. Because whether you believe in sea monsters or not, the ocean is a big, mysterious place. In 2018, a YouTube channel was born. It's named Vera Corotiva, and in less than a year, it had uploaded over 1.4 thousand videos to the platform. Within them, we're able to observe the inside of an apartment occupied by what seems to be a family. And to be honest, not a whole lot seems to happen. They spend a ton of time watching TV and lounging around. At first glance, it seems like this channel might be nothing more than an archival page run by the tenants themselves. Now, that would make sense. However, there's one small problem. This isn't Vera's only camera. This channel, Vera Corotiva, is likely not run by the tenants, but by their landlord, and they've got eyes everywhere. Taking a closer look at the details of Vera's videos leads to some eccentric discoveries. But out of everything, the video that really made me realize something was off came from an upload on October 26, 2019. It's simply titled Water Supply Repair, and at first glance, it seems ordinary. Upon translating the description though, we find this. I've tried to read through it multiple times to find any sort of logical flow in the wording, but it doesn't make much sense at all. From what I could gather, Vera seems to be furious at a judge. For over 4 years, this bizarre channel has just sat here, completely untouched and unnoticed by the broader internet. And with a backlog spanning thousands of videos, it's all public, documenting complete strangers living out their daily lives, without even the slightest hint that the very person who owns the building they live in is broadcasting them to the world.
Reddit is a treasure trove of information, offering solutions to hyper-specific problems and heartwarming stories. But it can also be a breeding ground for unsettling posts that leave you chilled to the bone, just like this homeowner's video. Creepy, right? The video hails from a California neighborhood where a homeowner captured something unsettling. It's nighttime, and a heavy, almost monstrous breathing fills the air in the neighborhood. It sounds like something massive, inhaling and exhaling with a chilling rasp. This bone-chilling sound continues for the entire 1 minute and 45 seconds of the video. Not knowing the source is what makes it truly eerie. Now, there might be a logical explanation, but for the life of me, I can't imagine what or who could be making that horrifying noise. The sky, our natural ceiling, is typically a source of beauty and serenity, dotted with fluffy clouds or painted with vibrant sunsets. But this video from Indonesia captures a truly eerie skyscape. Believe it or not, this isn't a scene from a science fiction film, but reality captured by a local villager in Indonesia. The video shows the sky ablaze in an unsettling red, as if a giant red fluorescent bulb illuminates it. The cameraman pans across the scene, revealing a blood-red sky stretching from horizon to horizon. This otherworldly glow bathes the buildings and ground in an ominous red light. The apocalyptic scene is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. But what caused this nightmarish transformation? The culprit is a haze crisis that choked the entire region back in 2019. Oil palm farmers, opting for expediency over sustainability, resorted to slash and burn techniques to clear the jungle. This environmental disaster ignited massive fires that ravaged the natural habitat. While the video undeniably evokes a sense of impending doom, it serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of human actions on the environment.
Hiking always seems like a fun and thrilling adventure, until you spot something that shouldn't be there. When we think of hiking, we usually imagine breathtaking scenery, peaceful woods, and towering mountains. But for a few unlucky ones, that peaceful hike turns into a nightmare they'll never forget, just like what happened to this hiker. This eerie footage was sent to a YouTube channel called Leviathan by a viewer who had a strange and terrifying encounter during one of their hikes. In the video, we see a snow-covered forest, and at first, it looks like the hiker is just trying to film the quiet wilderness. But then, something emerges. A large, dark creature suddenly steps out from the bushes and walks calmly across the snowy trail, right in front of the hiker. At first glance, it almost looks like an ape. But here's the thing. This footage was captured somewhere in North America, where no known wild apes exist. Viewers have been quick to label it as a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, and honestly, it's hard to argue. The creature's thick black fur, upright posture, and human-like gait all match the descriptions we've heard about this legendary being. But if you ask me, it didn't seem that massive, which makes me wonder, could this be a juvenile Bigfoot? Maybe just trying to find its way home? What do you think this is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to hear your theories. We've all heard the chilling tales of Annabelle, the world's most haunted doll, but now a new contender has stepped out from the shadows. Meet Elizabeth.
Not well?
This unsettling story was picked up by the New York Post and quickly went viral on TikTok, and not for any wholesome reason. The video introduces us to an antique doll named Elizabeth. At first glance, she looks like a sweet, old-fashioned toy, but don't be fooled. The moment you find out what she's capable of, that innocent porcelain face becomes nightmare fuel. The clip comes from TikTok, showing paranormal investigator Lee Steer and his wife Sarah testing Elizabeth with a spirit box. Sarah uses a gesture stick to provoke a reaction, and horrifyingly, it works. The first time, nothing, but the second time she spins it, the doll reacts.
So, you two have had a couple of months to get to know each other. That's me.
Elizabeth attempts to speak through the spirit box. The words are distorted, impossible to make out, but the sound alone is enough to send shivers down your spine. And this is just one of many terrifying encounters. Elizabeth is believed to be possessed by the spirit of a jilted bride, and she's earned a dark reputation as one of the most haunted dolls in the UK. Reportedly, she has attacked 17 men, leaving scratches and causing violent disturbances. And yes, you heard that right. She only targets men, specifically married ones. Paranormal investigator Lee Steer, who purchased Elizabeth for nearly $1,000, claims he was scratched during an investigation. The doll seems to exhibit intense hatred toward men, possibly tied to a tragic backstory involving a failed wedding. His partner, Sarah Carter, witnessed one of the attacks herself. She now refuses to be alone in the room with Elizabeth. Objects move on their own, strange whispers echo in the room, and one thing is for sure: this doll is no ordinary antique. So, if you're a married man, maybe it's best to keep your distance from antique dolls, especially ones with wedding dresses and an attitude, because you never know when one of them might already be after you. A hiker was filming a raging river when something really bizarre appeared. Now he's asking the internet, and so are we. The video was uploaded across multiple social media platforms, with the uploader practically begging viewers to help identify what he just captured. At first glance, it's just a fast-moving river, nothing out of the ordinary. But then you notice it. There's something in the water, something large, clinging onto a tree against the raging current. All we can clearly see are these sharp, strange appendages, wrapped tightly around the tree trunk, like claws, or antlers, or something else entirely. When I first watched this, I was stunned. I couldn't make sense of what I was seeing. It doesn't move like an animal, yet it doesn't seem like debris either. In the comments, theories are running wild. Some say it's an alien, others swear it's a skinwalker caught on camera. But the most rational explanation? Some believe it's a deer, likely dead, with its antlers tangled around the tree, giving the illusion of something monstrous. Still, there's something about those twisted, sharp features that makes the whole thing feel off, even if it is just a deer. The eerie way it clings to the tree while water violently rushes past gives this video a chilling vibe I can't quite shake. A group of hikers were just filming their casual venture into the woods, but when they got home and reviewed the footage, they noticed something terrifying. This unsettling video comes from YouTube and was uploaded on June 17th, 2016 by the popular adventure channel Amazing Mystery Videos. But unlike their usual content, this particular clip took a strange and downright bizarre turn, all thanks to what one hiker unknowingly captured during their hike. While filming the serene woodland scenery, one of the hikers spotted a peculiar tree with an opening in its trunk. Curious, he pointed the camera toward it, just to grab a shot of what looked like a hollow tree. But what his camera recorded was something entirely different. As he panned the camera into the hollow of the trunk, the camera caught sight of some weird small creature moving inside. The hiker didn't notice anything unusual at the time, likely because of the darkness within the trunk. But Upon reviewing the footage later, the moment really freaked him out. The uploader of the video is calling it a goblin, and honestly, judging by its appearance and the fact that it was hiding inside a tree, it does kind of fit the vibe. Of course, there's also the possibility that this was all CGI. Some viewers pointed out that the creature seemed to glitch a bit, and that the texture didn't quite blend in with the surroundings. That could be a sign of digital effects, or it could just be the camera struggling to record in low light. This TikTok user was enjoying a quiet beach day with her dog until something terrifying crawled out of the sea.
Here's a new one. What the fuck?
The video was uploaded to TikTok by a user simply enjoying the perfect beach day. Clear skies, calm waves, the usual good vibes. But then, things took a bizarre turn.
Warm, crystal clear waters. Fucking mint. Long, beautiful beaches. Incredible views surrounded by mountains and nature.
As she panned her camera down toward the sand, something massive came into view. A long, thick, tentacle-like thing, bruised, ripped, and looking like it had just been torn off by some oceanic monster. It honestly looked like part of a giant alien squid, or the aftermath of a sea creature battle.
Giant, random animal part washed up on the beach.
And this wasn't a one-time incident either. Another TikTok user stumbled upon a similar tentacle-like object and even compared it with her foot. And yeah, it was absolutely huge. The worst part? It almost looked like it was moving on its own. Like whatever it was. It wasn't completely dead.
It is massive, look. That's my foot.
The video spread like wildfire, and soon enough, self-proclaimed TikTok experts and even marine biologists chimed in with a very unexpected explanation. According to them, what we're seeing is likely the reproductive organ of a male whale. Yup, you heard that right. Apparently, during fights between male whales, things can get vicious, and one of the most common targets is each other's reproductive parts. Sometimes, these body parts get ripped off and end up washed ashore, like this. I always thought the beach was a chill place, but now I'm questioning everything that washes up on shore. The ocean clearly still holds mysteries we're not ready to face. When it comes to paranormal sightings, this UK pub might just be one of the most haunted places on Earth. This chilling footage was captured by a security cam at the Golden Fleece, a legendary pub in York, UK, and later uploaded to TikTok. The video dates back to 2017, and while the pub was closed at the time, something deeply unsettling was caught on camera. First, a bottle resting calmly on the table suddenly falls to the ground on its own. No one's around, no sudden movement, just drops. Then, seconds later, napkins sitting nearby scatter across the floor, as if someone or something pushed them. Now, I get it. Napkins might be light enough for a gust of wind, but that bottle, that takes force, and there's clearly no one there. Also, this pub is rumored to be seriously haunted. It was even featured by a well-known paranormal explorer on Facebook. According to him, the location is the Golden Fleece in York, reputed to be the most haunted pub in all of Britain. It's said to be home to at least 15 restless spirits. Among them is Lady Peckett, who's often seen roaming the upper floors. Then there's a screaming ghostly airman who reportedly fell to his death. A skull placed near the entrance is said to give off eerie, almost paralyzing energy. And if that's not enough, there's One-Eyed Jack, a spirit who haunts the bar, pistol in hand. Many guests have reported terrifying encounters, some even so intense that they fled the pub in the middle of the night. This pub has also been featured in several top 5 most haunted places in Britain articles, and almost every time it makes the list. After watching this footage and hearing all these details, I'm honestly not sure I could ever go into a pub like that, especially at night. Maybe it's the age of these places that fuels the rumors, but when even the slightest paranormal event gets caught on camera, it sparks a buzz, and in cases like this, the evidence feels too real to ignore. Ever seen something so terrifying that you find yourself praying it's fake? Yeah, this video is exactly that kind of nightmare fuel. This unsettling footage was uploaded to Facebook by a channel called Sukan Star TV, and what it shows is downright disturbing, and honestly, hard to forget. In the video, the cameraman captures what looks like a bizarre, humanoid baby-like creature in the woods, but the more you look, the more unnatural it gets. Its face resembles that of a grown adult, complete with a long nose and an unnervingly wide mouth. Yet, its body is something else entirely. Smooth, hairless, almost baby-like skin, but with animalistic proportions. It has long, human-like fingers and a lower half that looks completely animalistic, as if someone stitched together a person and a beast in the most cursed way possible. Straight-up nightmare material. Now, personally, I think this is fake, or at least I really hope it is. Most likely, it's a prop or animatronic made for a movie or a creepy art project. The eyes don't blink or follow anything, and while its body seems to be twitching, it gives off the vibe of a mechanical motor causing the movement. Still, just because something might be fake doesn't mean it's not terrifying. I'll leave the rest up to your imagination. But seriously, let me know what you think in the comments. This eerie security footage from the Huntington Museum might reveal what haunts its halls when no one's around. This unsettling clip was captured on the museum's own security system during what seemed like a slow, quiet day. But while the hall stood empty, the camera caught something moving, and it's not a staff member. Right near the staircase, a shadowy figure appears to glide through the frame, emerging from the dim hallway. You can clearly make out its humanoid shape. Then, just as mysteriously, it slips back into the darkness, almost like it had unfinished business, or something we're not meant to understand. Now sure, we could brush it off as a camera glitch or some lighting trick, but there's more to this place than meets the eye. The Huntington County Historical Museum already has a reputation for being haunted. In fact, it's the starting point for the Tri Kappa Ghost Walk, a local fundraiser that shares real ghost stories and eerie encounters from the area, many of them tied to the museum itself. So when you combine that haunted history with footage like this, yeah, it's safe to say this museum might be holding more than just old artifacts, maybe even spirits of the past, still wandering its halls. This group of girls had just come back from a party. Good vibes, fun times, until they rewatched their video and saw something really unsettling. The video shows a bunch of friends just vibing, having fun, and filming themselves like you do after a great night out. But there's something seriously off in the footage, something they didn't notice at the time. Did you catch it? Don't worry. Let me rewind and slow it down for you. Now look at the first girl on the far left. There's a hand resting on her shoulder, but not just any hand. This thing looks off. It's dark, almost black. The nails are long and claw-like, and it just doesn't look human. Sure, it could be the hand of the girl beside her, but the way it moves, creepy, almost like it had some wicked intention. Now if you ask me, and I watch this frame by frame, it might just be a glove. Maybe one of those wedding finger gloves with lace that gives off that illusion. That could explain the odd texture and color, but if it's not, then these girls might have brought home more than just party memories.
We may think we've explored most of our land, but the vast oceans remain a mystery. Unfathomable creatures lurk in its depths, just like the one captured in this video.
Seems to be some sort of alien creature growing off our dock. It's growing on the wood. It's like a gelatin growing over the tree branch.
This bizarre specimen was filmed by a group of fishermen in Hayden Lake, Idaho. The video captures something unlike anything they, or perhaps anyone, has ever seen before. The creature's texture appears gelatinous, and its form is undeniably strange. As the fishermen zoom in, we see a body composed of a jelly-like substance. Its proportions are unsettling, with oddly shaped arms, a tail, and a feature that can barely be described as a face. There's no doubt this is an aquatic creature, but the mystery deepens. Is it a product of genetic mutation, a denizen of the deep unknown, or something even more outlandish, an alien visitor from another world? The video leaves us with more questions than answers, but one thing's for sure, the strangeness of the ocean depths is truly captivating. If you are enjoying this so far, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep this channel going. Imagine being deep in the Russian wilderness when night falls and you realize you're lost. That's the nightmare scenario a hiker found himself in, and what happened next will send shivers down your spine. Take a good look. This video, captured by the hiker himself, shows a dense forest at night. But that's not all. Peer through the bushes. Do you see that? A pair of glowing eyes stare directly at the camera, reflecting the flash in an unnerving gaze. The feeling of being watched in the vast darkness is enough to shake you up. But the horror doesn't stop there. As the camera pans to the side, another pair of eyes emerges from the shadows. The video cuts short, leaving us with a lingering sense of dread. What were those eyes? Their height suggests a large animal, maybe a wildcat, yet the shape is strangely humanoid. This encounter has sparked a firestorm of theories. Could it be a trick of the light, a nocturnal predator, or something entirely unknown? What do you think lurks in the darkness of this Russian forest? Nessie on vacation. The Loch Ness Monster, a legendary creature from Scottish folklore, might not be confined to its namesake lake after all. This recent video from Albania has sparked debate online. The footage appears to capture a massive creature with a long neck emerging from a lake. The resemblance to classic Loch Ness Monster photos is uncanny, After briefly breaking the surface, the mysterious creature dips back under, leaving viewers to speculate. Some believe it's a giant catfish. But have you ever seen a catfish with such an elongated neck? To me, it looks uncannily like Nessie. But what could a legendary Scottish monster be doing in an Albanian lake? Did Nessie decide to take a prehistoric vacation? Or is there something even more mysterious lurking in the depths? One thing's for sure, this video reignites the legend of the Loch Ness Monster and opens the door to exciting possibilities. Nature's got its traps, from tiny carnivorous plants that snap shut on insects to, well, giant plants that can snag something much bigger, sheep.
People think I'm joking when I call brambles carnivorous plants, but before you sneer, just look at the evidence. Hey darling, you're a bit stuck, aren't you? If no one rescued this lamb, it would be dead in a couple of days.
A farmer stumbled upon a horrifying sight during his daily rounds. One of his sheep was caught in a bizarre struggle. The sheep was firmly entangled, thrashing against a prickly bush. The farmer wasted no time, pulling out a knife to free the distressed animal from the bramble's grasp. Now the farmer suspected something strange. Were these brambles turning carnivorous? Convinced of a plant conspiracy, the farmer decided to demonstrate. He approached another sheep grazing nearby. As the unsuspecting sheep reached for some berries, it became ensnared by the bramble's thorns. The farmer quickly intervened, freeing the sheep once again. This incident certainly raises an eyebrow. While brambles aren't actively hunting prey, their sharp thorns can be a serious threat. Imagine taking a stroll through the woods and some plant shackling you for life there. As technology races forward, the line between alien activity and secret government projects blurs. This video from the US is a prime example.
I don't know, man, that's cool. There's like 3 of them, look, 4 of them.
The footage, captured by an apartment resident, shows a bizarre object streaking across the sky. This cone-shaped entity leaves a thick, smoky trail in its wake, and a strange, whitish field appears to surround it. As the cameraman zooms in, a second, similar object can be seen, flying in the opposite direction. But the strangeness doesn't end there. Moments later, a third object streaks across the sky, this time with an eerie orange glow, before vanishing without a trace. Unsurprisingly, speculation is running wild. Enthusiasts are calling it extraterrestrial activity, while others suspect a secret government missile test or a new satellite launch. Whatever it was, it certainly leaves a shroud of mystery. The existence of ghosts and spirits is a hotly debated topic. While there's no scientific consensus, the internet is full of supposed evidence, and this video might be some of the strongest out there. Did you see that? This strange and bizarre sight was captured by a security camera in India. In the video, we see a white car parked near a forest road. After a few seconds, the car owner enters the frame and opens the driver's side door. He appears to be searching for something inside the car when something inexplicable happens. He abruptly runs away from the vehicle. Slowing down the video reveals a chilling detail. As the car owner rummages through his car, a transparent, smoky figure seems to form behind him and pushes him into the car. The force of the push causes the man to get shoved into the car and then look around. But there's nothing there. This unexplained encounter clearly terrifies him, prompting him to flee the scene. This is a truly scary capture on a security camera. It certainly challenges the notion that spirits don't bother us. This video might make me check my surroundings twice before doing something in my car. That's for sure. These two friends were just out for a casual hike when they noticed something that shocked them to their core.
All bark and no bite.
He's the quiet type. We can't get him to talk. Yeah.
This video was captured by two friends while hiking through a forest trail. Everything seemed normal. One of them starts recording and introduces himself and his buddy, but then he pans the camera towards something nearby. And that's when things start to get really weird.
Gavin and Greg. So what's up, Gavin?
Hey, how you doing?
Here's Greg.
As he swings the camera over, jokingly calling it his friend Greg, we suddenly see a face. But not just any face. This thing looks like a cursed mashup between Groot and Voldemort. It's clearly part of the tree, maybe even just a natural growth, but the way the bark forms a mouth, nose, and two hollow eyes, man, it gives off serious horror movie vibes. I swear, if I ever see something like that out on a hike, that would absolutely be my last day in the woods. I'm talking full sprint back to civilization, locking every door and never stepping outside again, not even to get the mail. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, this video reveals the kind of creatures our deserts have been cooking up for years.
سمكة الصحراء أو يسمونها بعضهم سكنجور ولها مسميات عديدة يعني.
This video, originally posted on TikTok, shows something that looks like it crawled straight out of a sci-fi movie. At first glance, it appears to be a snake, but then you notice the legs. Yes, legs. And that's where things get really wild. In the footage, we see someone holding a creature that seems to be a bizarre fusion between a snake and a four-legged lizard. It has the smooth, scale-covered body of a snake, but when the handler moves it around,
سمكة الصحراء أو يسمونها بعضهم سكنجور ولها مسميات عديدة.
Those little legs pop into view, breaking every law of what we expect from desert reptiles. It's the kind of thing that makes your brain go, is this an alien? But don't worry, I've got the answer before your mind starts spiraling into Area 51 theories. This strange little guy is actually a Cincus cincus, also known as the sandfish skink. Despite the name, it's not a fish. It's a species of skink native to the Sahara Desert and the Arabian Peninsula. What makes it so cool is its ability to literally swim through sand like it's water. And yes, people actually keep them as pets. Even though it's a known species, it's still mind-blowing to think about what evolution is capable of. A fish-like reptile that swims through sand? Nature really doesn't care about what sounds logical. It just does it. If you're a believer in mermaids, then this next video might just give you some serious ammo for your next debate. This clip was recorded by a beachgoer who was enjoying the view when they noticed a pod of dolphins leaping through the waves. Everything looked magical until one of the dolphins did something strange. As the person zooms in, one particular dolphin stands out, but it's not just any dolphin. Just as it's about to dive back into the water, it appears to extend what look like arms, not fins, arms. That's when things take a turn from cute ocean footage to something straight out of folklore. It moves in a way that's eerily similar to the mermaids we hear about in legends. While all the other dolphins look totally normal, this one has the unmistakable shape of a fish from the waist down and something humanoid above. Now, The internet has been split. Some people are calling it fake, claiming it's CGI or AI generated. Others think it's just a clever camera trick. But personally, I'm leaning the other way this time. To me, it doesn't look computer generated. It feels real. That said, I'm not calling it a mermaid either. Maybe it's some strange aquatic creature we haven't identified yet, or something evolution left behind and forgot to tell us about. But one thing's for sure, it's not your average dolphin. This ship crew thought they had crossed into another dimension when they saw what was happening to the ocean. This eerie footage comes from a group of Turkish fishermen, and recently, it's been making waves online, leaving viewers across the internet completely spooked. In the video, recorded from aboard a ship, we see the open sea, but something looks seriously off. The ocean doesn't look like water anymore. Instead, the surface is forming perfect squares, as if someone swapped reality with a scene straight out of Minecraft. These bizarre square patterns stretch out as far as the eye, or the camera, can see, and they're all exactly the same size and distance apart. The crew on board is clearly shaken. They're in disbelief, staring at the sea as if they've just stumbled into a simulation glitch. And honestly, I can't blame them. This doesn't look like anything Earth should be doing. Since the video went viral, theories have flooded the internet. Some people say it's just AI generated or CGI, but others believe it's 100% real. And some even suggest it could be the result of an underwater earthquake, causing unusual surface tension patterns that break into geometric formations. Whatever the case may be, one thing's for sure, it's absolutely terrifying to witness, like the ocean itself is glitching. This next video shows that it's not just the oceans. Now even the skies are acting strangely all around the world. This next video comes from a driver in China who was just heading home when something in the sky caught his eye. So strange that he immediately pulled out his phone to record it. In the footage, we can clearly see a weird smoke formation in the sky. But this isn't your usual airplane trail. It's far too detailed. It looks like someone took a pen and carefully sketched a serpent curling through the clouds. Honestly, it's less like a natural cloud and more like a piece of sky graffiti. What's even wilder, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. That same exact serpent-like cloud shape was spotted 4 years ago near a volcano in Indonesia, and that one was recorded from way closer, adding even more mystery to it. So what is it? Personally, I'm leaning toward the idea of a smoke plane drawing this in the sky. It's the only explanation that makes some sense. Because if this was made by natural clouds, then honestly, I have no idea how nature managed to pull that off so perfectly. Ever seen a soul leave the body right after death? This video might just show you that chilling moment. This footage was captured by a member of a life flight crew during the takeoff of a medical helicopter carrying a critically ill patient. Tragically, the patient passed away just as the helicopter lifted into the air. But what the camera caught right then is what has everyone talking. As the chopper ascends, a strange smoke-like mist appears to rise from it, floating upward, almost gracefully, like something leaving the body. It doesn't look like typical exhaust or mechanical vapor. Instead, it eerily resembles the classic depiction of a soul rising into the sky. Now sure, some might say it's just smoke from a part of the helicopter, but here's the thing. There's no exhaust system located up there, and it only appears right at the moment the man is said to have died. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's hard to shake off how timed and ghostly it all feels. For more interesting footage like this, check this out.